Staff writer for the Federalist, Shawn Fleetwood, just wrote an op-ed all about this, titled "Daniel Penny's Indictment Deserves the Level of Outrage Trump's Got." He joins me now to explain more. Shawn, thanks so much for joining us. It's great to have you.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Of course. So, Shawn, what's happening to Daniel Penny is just absolutely unjust and showcases the complete weaponization of law enforcement agencies. And it's devastating because I feel like this critically important story is just being swept under the rug, as you mentioned in your article. Why do you think Penny's indictment isn't receiving the attention that it very well deserves?
Well, we're seeing a lot of coverage, obviously, of the indictment of Donald Trump by Biden's Department of Justice. And then today, of course, we got news that Hunter Biden will be getting a pretty sweet deal when it comes to getting charged by the DOJ and will basically be getting no prison time at all. And, that's understandable that we're, getting lots of coverage. Donald Trump is a former president. He's one of the major contenders for the Republican primary for the 2024 election. Hunter Biden's the son of a sitting president. So it makes sense that, that's getting a lot of attention. But I think that's all the more reason why Daniel Penny's story requires conservatives to be vocal and to be shouting from the rooftops when it comes to this story. Unlike Donald Trump, Daniel Penny likely doesn't possess the legal or financial resources to withstand a long, prolonged legal battle against a system that is very clearly rigged against him. So I think that's why it's so important for us as everyday Americans to rally around him and shout his story from the rooftops and make sure that Americans know what an injustice this prosecution is.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It has to be done because, like you said, he doesn't have the financial means that Trump does, and he needs all the support he can get, quite frankly. And, I think this whole scenario just proves that the inmates truly are running the asylum, and America's two-tiered justice system clearly prioritizes literal criminals. Shawn, what's at stake here if Penny is convicted?
Yeah, it's really gross and kind of sad that in a lot of these blue cities and blue states in the country, they've become post-constitutional wastelands, essentially, where if you're a law-abiding citizen, you're the one who's going to get charged if you dare defend yourself. This is hardly the only case, unfortunately. You have a case in Austin, Texas, a very blue city, where a man named Daniel Perry, not to be confused with Daniel Penny, was recently convicted for defending himself against a Black Lives demonstrator who pointed a gun into his car during a BLM demonstration in summer of 2020. In Acton, Massachusetts, you have a man named Kevin Mackey who participated in a peaceful protest last summer where he was attacked by a man who at one point had compared Republicans and the GOP to Nazis. That criminal, that assailant who attacked him, he cut a deal with the local Democrat district attorney to have all of his charges dismissed. Meanwhile, Kevin Mackey, who defended himself, is facing 3 counts, one of which is assault and battery with a deadly weapon. If convicted on that charge alone, he's facing upwards of 10 years in prison. So, unfortunately, what's happening to Daniel Penny is a growing trend of blue states and blue cities across the country just completely disregarding the Constitution in favor of criminals that oftentimes are out back onto the streets because of Democrat policies.
Yeah, you're right about that. We've seen it time and time again, and it seems to be a reoccurring trend at this point. It's happening so often. There's also the story of Jordan Williams, who similarly to Penny was next to a violent lunatic on a subway and had to step in to not only save passengers, but himself. And Jordan Williams also was someone who didn't have a previous criminal record. But both of these men just get thrown in jail by these woke liberal DAs on manslaughter charges. I mean, is this just par for the course now? Are we just being targeted if you're actually trying to do the right thing and save lives?
I think what you're seeing play out is really the Democrat strategy here to continue their assault on the constitutional rights for everyday Americans. So if you're going to defend yourself, you're going to be the one who's going to be charged, not the criminal. And we see this after every mass shooting, where they, instead of cracking down on crime, instead of making sure that these criminals don't have access to firearms, they target law-abiding Americans. And at the same time, they're consistently releasing these violent criminals back out onto the streets.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.